Okay, so we're starting our new unit on triangles, and I am going to be going over page 23 and 24 in the green book to cover all of the triangle topics that we're going to do for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week. This assignment is actually going to be Wednesday's assignment, so you'll have a different assignment for Monday and Tuesday, but this assignment will cover all of the topics for those 3 days, so we're going to put it all in one video. So on page 23, I'm on number 1, and the thing that's important about a triangle like this is that we know that all 3 angles, when added together, equal 180 degrees. So if I add together 47 and 58 and x, all of these added together are going to equal 180 degrees. So now I just have to solve for x, which is something you guys have gotten pretty good at this year. So 47 plus 58 is 105. So we're going to combine these like terms. Remember, the reason we can combine them is because there's no x on either of these terms, so they are like terms. And then the x we have to leave on its own because since it has an x, it's not a like term. Then we know to get the x by itself, to solve for that x, we take away 105 from both sides, because that's the opposite. And then we are left with x equals 75. Okay, so we know this measure right here is 75 degrees, and x equals 75 degrees. Okay, let's look at a few other examples of that. On number 9, let me just adjust this so you can see it a little better. Notice on number 9 we have this square right here. That square means that this is a 90-degree angle right here. So 90 degrees. So this angle right here is 90. And then we can add up both of these angles. So 2x minus 2 and x plus 5. When we add all of those together, remember, since it's a triangle, it's going to equal 180 degrees. Now we have to combine like terms. So we have 90, -2, and 5. Those are our whole numbers, or our integers. And we can combine them all together because they don't have x's. So 90 plus 5 is 95. But then we have this minus 2. Remember, to know whether something's positive or negative, you have to look at the sign right in front of the number. Okay, so here we have 93. And then we have a 2x and an x. So 2x plus x is 3x. And that's still going to equal 180. Now this is a two-step equation. Remember, the x is the host. So we want to get the host all by itself, which means the 3 is the best friend. The 93 is the acquaintance. The 93 leaves the party first by doing the opposite. So we subtract 93. That gives us 3x equals 87. And then we have to get rid of the best friend by doing the opposite. So we divide by 3 on both sides. And x equals 29. All right, now we are going to jump up a little bit on the page. We're going to do some other examples that are a little bit different type of problems. So if we look at problem number 5, you notice we have the two inside angles of this triangle, but we don't have this angle right here. We don't know what it is, okay? But we do know that this outside angle right here is 100 degrees. An outside angle is called an external angle. These angles on the inside of the triangle, they're called internal angles. Okay, so we know this exterior angle right here, this angle on the outside is 100, but we don't know this angle right next to it. Well, you notice these two angles, they are on a straight line. Okay, so if I were to connect the two angles, it would make a half circle, just like I drew right here, and they're on a straight line. Well, how many degrees is a full circle? If you were to turn yourself around in a full circle like this is 360 degrees, which means that a half circle on a straight line is 180 degrees. Okay, so we know that this angle plus this angle are 180 degrees because they're on a straight line and they make up half a circle. So if this angle is 100, we can call this angle y that we don't know. 100 plus what equals 180? Well, that tells us that that angle right there has to be 80 degrees. We just subtract 100 from both sides. So now we know this angle right here of our triangle is 80 degrees. Okay, now that's not the end of our problem. Our problem is asking us to find x. So after we find what this angle is, then we still have to add up all three angles of the triangle to equal 180. So I'm going to do that over here to the side. So we know that that missing angle that we found is 80. And then we have an angle that's 51. And we have an angle that's 2x plus 3. Those all combine to equal 180. So we combine like terms. We have an 80, a 51, and a 3. So 80 plus 50 is 130, and then we have a 1 and a 3, which is 4. So we're going to have 134 plus our 2x equals 180. Then we subtract 134, that's the acquaintance. We do the opposite to get rid of it. And we're left with 2x equals 46. Then we divide by 2 on both sides. And then x equals 23. So that one took a few more steps, but as soon as you find that missing angle using the straight line that equals 180 degrees, then you're able to find the missing angle of the triangle. Okay, so let's do one more problem like that. We're going to do number 6. Okay, so remember these two angles right here, they're on a straight line, which equals 180 degrees. So I'll label this one y. 94 plus y equals 180 degrees. We're going to subtract 94 from both sides. So y equals 86. So this angle right here is 86. And then if we add up all the insides of the triangle, 86 plus 60 plus 2x, that's going to equal 180 degrees. 86 plus 60 is 146 plus 2x equals 180. We're going to subtract 146 from both sides. And that gives us 2x equals 34. So we divide by 2 on both sides. And 34 divided by 2 is 17. So for number 6, x equals 17. All right, so let's turn over to page 24. We have a few new concepts to cover. Okay, so there's something in geometry called vertical angles. And vertical angles are angles that are always equal to each other. The way you know what a vertical angle is it's right across from another angle. So for example, this angle and this angle that I've just labeled, they're vertical angles because they're right across from each other. And in between them, you can draw an X. Okay, so if there's two angles that are right across from each other and in between them you can draw an X shape with the lines of the triangle, then you know it's a vertical angle. And those two angles are equal. Okay, so we have to find what X is. But since we don't know any of the measurements in this triangle right here, first we have to find the missing measurement in this bigger triangle. We have to find this measurement right here, where I drew my arrow. So to find that, I'm going to take 43 plus 57 plus, I'm going to call this Z, plus angle Z is 180 degrees. So 43 plus 57 is 100. That's going to be 100 plus Z equals 180. So we take away 100 from both sides and angle Z equals 80 degrees. Okay, so this angle right here is 80 degrees. If we know that this angle is 80 degrees, then the angle right across from it, the vertical angle, where there's an X in between them, is also 80 degrees. They're exactly the same measurement. So if we know that this angle is 80 degrees, now we can solve for X in this triangle by adding together 80 plus X, and we know that that equals 180 degrees. So if we subtract 80 from this side, we get X plus X equals 100. We can combine the two X's. X plus X is just 2X. And then we divide by 2 on both sides. And we know that X equals 50. Okay, so let's look at number 14 next. Okay, a lot of these are going to take multiple steps, but just remember the three things we've talked about. If two angles are on a straight line, they equal 180 degrees, right? If they're right across from each other, they're vertical angles, then they equal each other. And the three angles of a triangle are going to equal 180 degrees. Okay, so if we look at number 14, notice that we have a triangle right here. Okay, there's actually a lot of triangles in this picture, but one of the triangles we have is right here. And we need to know what this angle is. So we can figure out what that angle is by adding together 50 plus 80 plus y equals 180. 50 plus 80 is 130. We subtract 130 from both sides, and that gives us y equals 50. Okay, so this angle right here, that's 50. Okay, now what do you notice about x and y? They're on a straight line. These two angles are on a straight line. They make a half circle. So x plus y is going to be equal to 180. We know that y is 50, so x plus 50 is going to be 180 degrees. If we subtract 50 from both sides, x is going to be 130 degrees.